All right. Mr. Phone sold that, but did somebody take it over? Did somebody do Mr. Movie Phone?
Now?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't exist anymore.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's so retro that people would do it. I do feel like there's a core group of people, maybe our age.
No.
That
When was the
would
last
actually
time
do
you
it.
picked up a phone?
I hate the phone.
Yeah.
Except
so
the
there
text.
You go. So what are we talking about?
I listen. I told you guys that I thought texting was insane and stupid. It was like to me, it was like long shorts. Never gonna take. Yep. Who's gonna want to text when you can just call somebody and ask them a question? And now, just like everybody else, the last thing I want to do is talk on a phone to someone.
Have you seen the AI summary texts? They like summarize your texts, categorize them and stuff. It's pretty crazy.
Why?
My emails do that.
Waste of time. Yeah, it's awful. I hate it.
Why would they summarize my texts? I mean,
Because you're lazy. I don't know.
I don't understand. Like, I send Mark a text like, "Hey, dickhead," and what do they say? Mark.
Well, like
Mark
if you
is
send them
not.
like maybe like 5, like a bunch of stuff, it'll
Right.
group it and
Yeah,
kind of.
mine does it automatically on my phone.
But what? What if? No, I don't like that at all.
It's not terrible.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to tell my.
You'll get used to it.
Okay, so I'm going to tell I'm going to tell my Avengers. What's the first one? And no, not Endgame. What was the first Avengers?
I mean, it was literally
The big one. No, the big one's not
Infinity War.
Infinity Wars. Okay, so I have no idea that I'm a Marvel nut. Okay, I have no idea that Iron Man's going to die.
Don't ruin
Gave
it for Ivan.
Gave it away. Fuck everybody.
I haven't seen it.
It's too late now. Okay, but I have no idea. So I watched the movie one night. I watched the movie and I go to see it. And yeah, I think I sat in there with Jack and I cried. I did. I cried. I'm not going to lie about that, but that's not the important part. The next day, I go to school and I tell the kids, fourth grade class, and I tell the kids I saw Avengers, Infinity Wars. It was amazing. And one kid yells out, "Man, I hated it when Iron Man died." And I'm like, "Stand up, go out in the hall." And I sent him out to the hall. And this is what a terrible person I am. I yelled at him for giving it away, and I told him the importance of not giving movies away and how important movies are to people. And it was mostly because I had this unbelievable reaction to Iron Man dying, and I was so upset that people wouldn't be able to have that feeling in the movie that I yelled at this kid.
Well, you started it. I mean, what did you expect
I
was going to
didn't
happen?
think he was
In
gonna
a classroom
say-
of 30 kids, someone's going to say something.
I don't know what I thought. Yeah, it was my mistake. Okay. But I was so upset. That's the weird thing about movies, right? It was so important to me that other people got to get that feeling that it bothered me so intensely that I yelled at a kid in a hallway.
The funniest part of that story is, though, how he said, did you catch this when he said, "I cried," and then the next day I went to school, and I'm like, what are you, 10? Like, you in the 4th grade?
It was. I don't know.
It's like he was in the 4th grade, right? And then I had to go to school the next day.
It was very moving. It was. I thought that, to me, that was a very moving thing. I mean, I get emotional probably at movies that most people wouldn't care about, but when I'm part of it, like here, I mean, I don't watch a ton of movies, but the Spider-Man movie, the last one, I'm not going to give that away, because it was too new, but it was very emotional. Tom Holland really. I don't know. Spider-Man was always that one because he was a kid, right? That was the only one who's really a kid, and you have that emotion of a high school person who has the entire weight of the world on them. It's very. I don't know. To me, it's really wild.
Who's your favorite Spider-Man, Steven?
Ooh, that's tough.
That is tough.
I don't know if I have a good answer for that one.
See, mine was Tobey Maguire until, what's his name? Tom Holland. Yeah, Tom Holland. And then it was Andrew Garfield. Dude, he's awesome.
Yeah.
He's probably the best.
What?
Yeah,
There's
I
no
think
way.
so. I think so.
There is no way.
Well, both of those two make Maguire look like a fool.
Yeah, but some people are in love with the originals.
I like it, but
I find it offensive. All right, let's not talk too much because I'm sure our guest at some point in the future, in a couple minutes, is going to want to do this. So let's kind of stay where we're at. We'll talk movies when it's time to talk movies.
Once again, you started it.
I did
Okay,
start.
so-
I mean,
but you're going to shut us.
I mean,
down now.
Ted's not here. I guess we could just go ahead and.
I think you taught that kid a good lesson, by the way. He learned something that day.
He learned his teacher's a psycho?
No, not to be a shithead and spoil stuff for other people. That sucks. Nobody likes that person, and hopefully you scared him enough that he didn't do that again when he's,
But he didn't do it intentionally, right? He was just like,
Yeah, no, he was kind of a douche.
Oh.
See? He knew.
Yeah.
He knew.
I think he knew exactly what he was doing, and he wanted a little attention, and he got it. He got it from an adult man who yelled at him in a hallway at a school. It's still to this day, it still blows my mind. All right, let's get this thing started. This is the Real Three Idiots podcast, and happy, are you ready? National Fruit Cocktail Day. Mark, you remember fruit cocktail in a can,
I used to
right?
feed my turtles that fruit cocktail.
That's all it's good for. Okay, that's all it's good for. Steven, did you ever have? And welcome to my nephew Steven, because we're talking movies, and he's Mr. Movies.
Yeah, last time he was on, he never introduced you.
Never said his name.
introduced
Yeah,
you.
never introduced you. Did you ever eat fruit cocktail in a can?
I don't think so.
Oh my God, there's so many things.
Have you ever had fruit cocktail in a can, Matt?
It's terrible. It's the worst thing of all time. It's just gross. It's gross on so many levels that it's difficult for me to eat.
Oh, yeah. I've definitely had this.
You've had that?
Fruit cocktail?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure. Because, it doesn't seem like, there's a lot of things we eat now we ate then that no one would eat now. Cheryl was talking about deviled ham. Her mom used to make her eat deviled ham in a can. Yeah. I don't know what deviled ham was. I'm guessing ham with a lot of spices, like the worst part of a pig, like its ass, its tail, its feet, and then just with a lot of spices to make it not taste like ass tail feet.
Teeth.
I'm assuming that, right? Because how is that not? That's one of those things where if you're making like a spam or a scrap meat thing, at some point it's even less than the worst thing, right? It is the bottom of the barrel thing.
Anything in the can.
Yeah, anything as a can is the worst thing.
We were at the Chicago Dogs game on Mother's Day, and there was this woman on the phone. Obviously, she was a grandma because she was on the phone talking to her daughter, and the baby was there, so she was FaceTiming. And we had gotten up to get out of the sun, so she was standing against the wall, and she was ragging about her daughter-in-law to her daughter, her son's wife, and she said, she called me before you did, and guess what? She gave their 13-month-old a bratwurst, and she's bragging how she's feeding her baby a bratwurst. She's like, do you know what the bratwurst is? It's pig intestines. That's what it is. It's all full of pig intestines. I'm like, that's not what a brat is, but okay. And she's going on and on and on, bitching about her. But, you're talking about meat in a can. A bratwurst is a little bit.
A step. I
love bratwurst.
No. Listen, I like all that stuff. I don't really eat it anymore, but I know that it's a lot of it is not. It's not the best part of anything. But you can make better bratwurst with better stuff.
Yeah,
but I think a lot of the stuff we buy isn't that. I think it's got a lot more junk in it than we probably know, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or even want to know.
Yeah. I think want to know is the key word there.
Yeah. Okay. So as we're kind of stalling for Teddy to get here because he's running late, have you guys thought about your brain health at all?
Not really.
Yeah.
No? Yeah. Okay. They did a study, and they found a serious link between dementia and picking your nose. I'm not messing with you. There's a link, okay? I guess critical species of bacteria have a clearer path to your brain when you're sticking your nasty ass finger in your nose.
Well, that's what nosebleeds are for. It washes it all out.
That's sneezing, all that stuff. Okay, they talked about nose hair, not messing too much with your nose hair, and really getting up there and like cleaning it out because that's something in there. Now, here's the weird part: they did the study with mice. Right. So now let that sink in. Right. They did the study with mice. Number one, do mice must pick their nose, right?
I guess so.
Okay. Now I want you to think about this though. This was my favorite takeaway from all this. Somebody went to medical school so they could watch a mouse pick its nose. I want you to think about that. The hundreds of thousands of dollars that they spent in medical school. And then they go home, say Mother's Day, say, oh, Roger, how's your job as doctor? He said, oh, it's great. What are you studying? Oh, I'm watching a mouse pick its nose so I can see if there's a link between that and dementia in people.
That sounds like a job for the intern. I don't think the doctor's doing that.
But somebody's got to. I mean, somebody's got
The
to
intern.
An intern. Yeah. I mean, somebody's got to publish it, right? You got to be part of it. It just seems really weird. It just. I mean,
devote like years of your life to that.
Yeah, but now, and this is even tougher. Now they want to, because they found that correlation, they want to start doing this study with humans. So now the doctor is going to find human beings that will, I don't know, purposefully, unpurposefully, I don't even know how you do it, pick your nose. So you've got to find a group of non-nose pickers and a group of booger eaters, right? And you've got to study them. Let that sink in what your life is like every day when you go to work.
You said booger eater.
I mean, if you're sticking your finger up there, you're pulling something out.
And eating it?
If people are sticking their fingers up their nose.
Maybe that's another, there's like 3 levels.
You've never stuck your finger up your nose.
What, throat? Yeah.
And then you ate it?
I mean, have I never done that? Are you going to sit there right now and tell me you've never stuck your finger in your nose, got a booger,
and put it in my mouth?
Put it in your mouth.
No.
Okay, then I haven't either. Come on, you're kidding me.
No, I'm not kidding.
I'm not talking about on purpose. I'm talking about on accident.
Not that I can recall, no. No.
Well, probably have brain damage, that's why. All right, I don't know. I saw this, and it was one of those things that freaked me out. It completely freaked me out.
I can't get over the mouse picking its nose. Do they just wait? Do they see like, okay, this is one that's doing it? Like separate them? Do they train them?
Do you think they're forcing the mouse to pick its nose?
What if somebody's picking the mouse's nose?
But no, it'd have to be.
That's what's happening. Yeah, I've seen Tom and Jerry enough to know.
How could you get a finger? How could you get a person finger in the mouse nose? And plus, it has to have the mouse walking around stuff to pick it, right?
Plus, they wear those big fucking gloves.
The mouse?
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking of Mickey Mouse, Mickey and Minnie.
Oh, Jesus Christ! You know what? I knew that's where you were going with that. Okay.
Oh, right. Shucks. Well, what do you know?
So, if you've never seen South Park and you want to see one episode of South Park, there's one or two with Mickey Mouse in it where they do a thing on Mickey Mouse. It's one of the greatest things of all time. They have him swearing. Oh my God, he says every horrible, disgusting thing you could possibly imagine.
Teddy's here.
All right, looks like we're gonna have to go without Teddy. Nope, that might have been somebody else just walking into my house. Okay, all right. Well, you know what? I guess if Teddy's not going to be here, we're going to do something I don't think we've ever done. Have we ever had somebody besides you, me, and Teddy ever give a tip?
No.
All right, so Steven is going to be the guy who gives a tip.
I'm ready.
Okay. Oh, let me do a couple of reads here. If you enjoyed the episode, if you learned something today, please consider following the show, subscribing to your favorite podcast platform, or leaving a 5-star review. This helps the podcast more than I can say. This allows us to reach more and more people, and that would mean the world to us. Visit us at our website at voteforted.com. That's FORE. Or just Google The Real 3 Idiots Podcast. Yeah. It'll be a blast. All right. You have a song.
Yeah.
Thank God. Because if I get one more email or thing or message on social media that says, why is Mark not doing a song?
I missed one song 1 week.
It was a couple weeks. You got a little lazy. Hey, look who showed up to the show.
Hey, fellas. Good to be here.
All right. You're just in time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Were you out in the car slamming him down because
no.
he won't let you drink on the show?
No, this time I was just stuck in hellacious traffic, and I just had to take an alternate route to get here. And it's a miracle I got here as fast as I did. I think I was going to get here until almost after 6:30. So I did some creative driving to get here. So
Okay.
you're welcome.
Right.
But he still sat at the corner for 15
Still
minutes.
sat on his phone and did some stupid shit. Okay, Mark, why don't you start with your song because people don't give a shit about the sponsor; they give a shit about your song. Go ahead.
Tuesday night, Ted tipped our podcast. Saturday, he said he's sorry. Next week came and he tipped again. Ted was only having fun. He wasn't hurting everyone. And we all enjoyed the podcast for a change. Ted may be right. Ted may be crazy. Oh, but it's just maybe a lunatic you're looking for. Put down the crown. Don't try to sober him. Ted may be wrong. For all I know, He can't be right. They may be wrong because he sure ain't right. They may be wrong because he sure ain't right.
Okay, you can stop now. We
Yeah.
get it.
Okay. Number one, love Billy Joel. Number two,
That was good.
love those lyrics. Absolutely.
Well done.
That was a good one.
Very well done. All right, let's see. Ted's Tips is sponsored by Lester's Animal Chips. Everyone knows Lester's Animal Chips. Real chips made from real animals, always 100% hair-free, paw-free, and tongue-free. But Lester's Animal Chips is happy to announce 3 new flavors that will change the way you snack forever. You've asked for it, and now you have it. Penguin chips, bearded vulture chips, and what many people are saying is the best chip we've ever made, pygmy marmoset chips. Just go to lester'sanimalchips.com to find our fantastic new flavors and all the other flavors of animal chips you've been enjoying for the last 75 years. Lester's Animal Chips, the first and last name in animal chips. Ooh, excellent. I don't even know what does marmoset taste like. What is a marmoset?
I don't know, but
don't
before
know.
you ask the question, the answer
marmot.
is no.
No.
That's the answer.
Is that like a marmot?
I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea what a marmoset is. It sounds like a horse.
No, I
it's-
think
no,
it's
it
like a
sounds like
platypus or something, like a marmot. I don't know.
There's not types of platypus.
Yeah, but I think it's similar. It's like
They're
a
monkeys.
They're monkeys.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
I mean, everybody eats monkeys.
They're pretty cute.
you knew that.
Yeah. What was that? What was that movie where they Faces of Death? Remember
Yeah.
that one
Yeah.
we saw? Steven, you ever see Faces? Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was
Don't.
It was horrible, but there's people and they're at a restaurant and they put a monkey in a cage and its head sticking out and they bash the monkey. Oh boy, they bash the monkey's head open and eat its brain alive.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was remember that?
I don't think I ever saw that
Oh,
episode,
God.
but yeah, I heard about that one.
So gross, absolutely grotesque. All right, Ted, you just walked in.
Yeah.
You didn't hear anything we said.
Nope.
We said a lot of nice things about you.
I'm sure you did. So,
Right. All right, but are you ready for your tip?
I am.
Okay. Steven almost did this.
That's okay.
We were one doorstep. Wait, when you came in, did you go bathroom?
I did.
I knew that. He did come in. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
You're not allowed in the upstairs bathroom. You know that, right?
Oh, I'll press the time machine button and undo it. Okay, it didn't work. Sorry.
Hold on. I got to text our cleaning crew. Extra.
You're not allowed
Whatever.
in the-
Yeah.
He went to the upstairs
Yeah.
bathroom.
Yeah.
What?
Your bathroom.
There's something in the upper deck in the upstairs bathroom. You'll find out later.
I was in the master bathroom. I was doing what you do.
No, actually, that's a good idea. Like if you go to a guest house, go to like their sacred room and make sure you go number 2 in it. Just to mark your territory.
Number 2.
Yeah, 22. I don't know.
If I'm going to somebody's bathroom like that, I'm doing number 3. Yeah,
Drop
for
it.
sure. I'm doing number 3.
Double decker.
Double decker. All right, Ted, here's your tip. Ted, I'm meeting my boyfriend's parents for the first time next month. They live in Florida and are coming to visit. His father was a dentist and his mother was a buyer for a retail chain. I like that people are adding a lot more detail. I like that. They are slightly conservative, but not MAGA people. What are some things I should talk about and some topics to avoid? You seem well versed in a lot of topics, and I want to make a
That's not true, but okay.
I
thank
want to
you.
make a good impression. Carla, 31, Providence, Rhode Island.
Poison serial killers. Those are the
That's-
topics.
Could you even imagine if she obviously she listens to the show, if she said any of the things that Ted talked about to her relatives, they would
She's
would
gonna do
literally
the
go
opposite.
crazy.
She's gonna do the opposite.
Right. Well, let's see what Teddy says. Teddy, what is your advice?
I've actually heard this a long time ago, and I think this is a good rule of thumb to follow. If you're just meeting someone for the first time and you're not sure what their what triggers them, perhaps just every subject is in play except politics and religion. And if those subjects do happen to come up, and it's a controversial subject, they mention Trump or the war in the Middle East or Ukraine, here's what you say. There's a stock answer to all of it.
We've heard this one
and
before. I know it's coming.
And the answer is, it's an unfortunate situation. That's your stock answer.
Okay,
You're not taking sides.
But what are some things she can talk about?
Religion. It's an unfortunate situation.
God? You know
Well,
what?
you have to use your
Unfortunate.
best judgment. Obviously, you don't want to bring that phrase out every single time. But current events, which obviously can include politics and religion, but you have to pick and choose wisely. Sports, obviously, people talk about sports universally.
Okay, sports is a good one.
Talk about work. You talk about work. Talk about their retirement. Hey, are you folks retired? Let's talk about your 401ks and the minimum distribution.
Don't do that.
How much money you got?
So, how much money do you have? What was your salary right before you retired?
So let me ask you this: if you were to die and we were married, how would my life change?
Yeah. Is Florida a communal property state or a equitable property state? I just want to know because I just want you to be my future ex-husband, in about 5 years from now. So.
Yeah. I just want to make sure if this piece of garbage doesn't have a good job, you guys did and everything's okay.
What's the best life insurance policy to take out without somebody's co-signature?
All right, so what are you telling her specifically?
Current events without delving too deep into politics or religion. I mean, just don't go deep in the weeds. You could talk about it superficially, but if it starts getting perhaps controversial, that's when you want to kind of pull back. If you could see some, you could obviously have to read the room to, ascertain if somebody is triggered or someone has a very strong opinion about something specific. That's when you want to kind of gently back away and maybe change the subject. Yeah, so all topics, but like I said, the two main ones that seem to trigger people, especially these days, politics and religion, other than just talking about it superficially, if you start getting deep in the weeds about it, that's when you might want to just, watch it, and that's when you want to use the expression, it's an unfortunate situation. Like if she says, well, what do you think about the war in Ukraine, huh? It's an unfortunate situation, without taking sides,
Okay, so this actually works because, Stephen, you are engaged, and you are going to be married.
Congratulations.
In the very near future.
Yes.
Congratulations, by the way. And you had to meet, and I don't know how long ago you met your fiance's parents, but were you cautious about what you said the first time?
Cautious, definitely. But I think the one thing I would add to what Ted is saying, I think sports are great. I think there's other like hobby type things. Movies are really good because you can talk about like what is coming out recently.
Perfect, yep.
But I think you just really need to be okay with some dead air. Like you just need to be okay with not filling the space. Like you let them kind of have the conversation. You're going to get yourself into trouble if you come in thinking I need to be the one to fill every second of conversation. That's where you're going to run into trouble because then you're going to say something. Who knows?
That's a great point. I mean, the less talk. In fact, rules are like to manage yourself. That's why you have 2 ears and 1 mouth because you should listen twice as much as you speak. You ever heard that expression? Yeah. So let them do all the talking.
I have heard
and
that.
then maybe you can gauge.
Ted's heard it a lot.
What to talk about versus what? Yeah. So let's let the parents take the lead. But you don't want to. There's a fine line between being like you're not really being rude. With some dead air because you feel nervous or you feel obligated to fill every second with your voice, but you don't have to, as Stephen said.
So that is literally.
Yeah.
That is literally my biggest problem. Is that the dead air would leave me into that space where I would say something like, yeah, I don't know, animal rape. I mean, it's just a thing. Am I pro? Am I against? I don't know. Why were we talking about this? Yeah. Oh, I brought it up? I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know what I would do.
Global warming, stuff like that,
I don't know.
I think if you're worried about it, that's the way to go. But if you kind of know, and I think you can ask your partner like, hey, what's good? What's what can I get into? Then from there, I think it can be if you read the room right, then you can go ahead.
Okay, so definitely ask.
Yeah, get the scouting report.
Definitely
get
scouting report.
Like usually people have a go-to thing that they'd like to talk about, right? Like my dad really likes to talk about this subject. But when he talks about this subject is when he gets a little bent out of shape. So maybe if you get the advanced scouting report, you would avoid that subject. And then if he brings it up, because I think we were at some friend's house a while back, and we said we're not going to talk about this, and then immediately those friends brought up the very thing that we said we're not going to talk about, and that's when you have to kind of dance through the raindrops.
That was
and
so
then use,
bad. And then Ted did. This is the best part. So Teddy and I were at this person's house, and I said, Teddy, whatever you do, don't talk about this, and we didn't, and then they did. And what'd you do, Teddy?
I did the Irish goodbye.
Yep, walked right. Ted just walked right out of the room.
Because you know what?
Walked out of the room, and we never saw him again.
Because you know
I
what?
was stuck.
I just thought to myself, well, it's really his friends, not mine. So, I'm taking an edible and going to sleep.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
So let's see if our guest agrees with that. Scott, is there something that you would not talk to your in-laws about, or even in the beginning, was there something that you knew not to talk about? So stay safe.
Yeah, no, they hit the ones that I would stay away from, which was politics. Religion maybe not as much because I think religion is kind of maybe more prevalent in the South and in the Bible Belt area, and so I think most people assume you're a believer of some persuasion, and so if you're not, you just kind of keep it to yourself. But yeah, politics. Yeah, I mean, to this day, that is one that I cannot discuss, and I've been married for 34 years.
Ooh, okay, all right. That's a good play. Okay, so it's summer blockbuster time, and we thought we would bring back the show's official movie critic. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you very much,
Scott Phillips. Scott, welcome back to the show.
Welcome.
Hey, it's
Welcome
here.
Okay, so summer blockbuster time is literally the start of, and see if I get this right, gunfire, explosions, and an endless parade of sequels. Does that cover summer blockbuster movies?
That sounds right. That sounds right.
Well, those are blockbusters.
I refer to it as the season of the colons, but not your body part. The Mission Impossible : Final Reckoning, Avengers : Endgame, that kind of thing.
Oh man, and there is so I did a little research, and there's over 30 sequels, prequels, and spin-offs coming this summer.
Right.
So am I right to say that all original ideas have been used up, and no one has any concept of how to do anything different than Fast and Furious, outer space, underwater, and like inside the body?
Oh, and then kidnapping Liam Neeson. He's like 73, so he's probably going to be doing Taken Part 8. Shortly. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're getting to the idea, which is not wrong, that so much of filmmaking these days is metrics. A formula of who's going to star in it, who's popular, who's hot at the moment with various age groups, what's a property that already has a pre-existing brand. That's one of the reasons that everybody's flipping out so much about Ryan Coogler's Sinners, which came out a few weeks back. It's not a sequel, it's not a pre-existing based on a novel or anything like that. It was truly an original screenplay that he claims he wrote in about 2 to 3 weeks.
Wow.
And it's made $200 million so far. But in the end, it is a vampire movie.
Yeah, it's a genre
and at least
movie.
partly. And so you do have an idea that is old being made new again. But that's kind of rare. I mean, most of the time it is something that they think already has a built-in audience. I mean, we're even in the age of video game movies with Minecraft and the different ones that are coming out.
Yeah, so Steven and I were talking before the show about Minecraft, and this thing is going to make $1 billion or a couple $1 billion? Is that right?
Yeah, it could. We're worldwide, and that's the power of the video game for you. It's not just a U.S. thing. People around the globe have been playing it, and so people around the globe are going to the movie.
So when I searched summer movies 2025, Google, 3 of like the 10 movies that came up were Screamboat, Shiver Me Timbers, and Popeye's Revenge. All the ones that lost their domain protection.
Exactly.
Yeah. Those are 3 of the 10 movies that came up.
Yep, that is a new trend. The things that have lost copyright protection, and so the people first on that bandwagon, which isn't a surprise, are the horror folks. So you turn Steamboat Willie, the original incarnation of Mickey Mouse, into a slasher killer, and so you take something that is a known quantity or commodity. And put it in a lower budget genre where you don't have to put a whole lot of money into it, and they're hoping that just the curiosity factor will be enough to make them some money.
Is it kind of like also like a slap in the face to the big companies that, I mean, I know that Disney was going crazy trying to somehow stop this from happening. Do you do that and make something really gross and really crappy? And not necessarily a bad movie, but just a crappy things happening in it just to slap Disney in the face and kind of teach them a lesson?
Yeah, I mean, that could certainly be part of it. I mean, I think they're probably going for what is the biggest or best known property that we can use without getting into legal trouble. But then it wouldn't surprise me if they thought, let's really go over the top to stick it to corporate America with what we're going to do with their kind of former trademark.
Wow. Okay, so is it hard for you because there's so many movies coming out in the summer? Is it hard for you to see all the movies to review them? I mean, do you have to really, really pick and choose what you're listening or what you're seeing?
Yeah, you do, and you know, and the issue for me is often the one that is probably going to be the most popular, and that you know the powers that be at my outlet, which is Forbes.com, would want me to write about are the ones that kind of don't tend to interest me, and so but you know you do it because it's you know it's part of the gig, and so people want to know what is your opinion of you know Mission Impossible 7 or Fast and Furious, you know, 10 or 11 or what have you. And so you find yourself sitting there watching it, and you really try not to. I do my best not to bring that kind of preconceived notion to it where I'm sitting there going, man, I could be watching something I really want to see right now. And so I try to stay in that frame of mind of, you know, pleasantly surprise me, folks, you know, and so you try not to build up, you know, too much doubt, I guess you would say, that it's going to be any good with those kind of attitudes. But it's hard not to because you know it seems to be diminishing returns with a lot of those franchises. You've already seen it done and seen it done better.
How do you do that? Like, and also a follow up on that is where do you watch the movies? Are you generally getting to the theater, or is it something that you're doing at home? How does that work, like in your schedule and whatnot?
Yeah, it is a mixture. The films, typically speaking, the very big movies that have very big piracy concerns, we see in the theater. They have critic screenings. They send out invites. You come, you know, you turn off your cell phone. It's a group of professionals usually watching the movie. They have no security issues or anything like that. Frequently, they'll ask you for what we call a pull quote, you know, the things that you see on the posters and everything. And they'll say, so what did you think of it? And, you know, sometimes you give them a funny, snarky one because it was just terrible. And sometimes you give them one that, you know, you wouldn't mind seeing in their advertising campaign should that happen. But the smaller films, you know, kind of indie films and some of the kind of, I guess, counter programming that you see in the summer coming out, sometimes we'll get links. The movies that really kind of need the publicity will send us screener links, and so we can watch them from home. I have a setup where I can throw my laptop picture up onto my projector, and so I will watch it on like a little home theater system that I have. And so it just depends on the scale of the production. Nobody's going to send me a link that has the brand new Mission Impossible movie, so that if I accidentally, you know, I don't know, hit forward or something and it went God knows where, they've, you know, they're compromised possibly in their billion-dollar investment. So those kind of screenings take place in a theater.
Does your wife ever sit with you and then when you say something like I think this is terrible or I think this is great, and she just looks at you and goes, how have I been with you for over 30 years?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. She has an expression that she will use, like when we have people coming over for like a movie night. And you know, because I mean, you know, my friends know that this is what I do. And so I'm kind of like the movie guy in the friend group. And so they'll be like, let's go over to Scott's house and have a movie night. And it's literally like, you know, when my mom would tell me about sharing well with others as a little kid, my wife will be like, now look, we don't want to watch any of that weird stuff that you really, really like. We need you to pick a normal person's movie. And so she's like, so it can't be one of your movies. It literally is said like with quotes around it. It can't be one of your movies. We need something that normal people will enjoy. But I tell you one thing that I've gotten really good at doing over the years is knowing what my friends like and then being able to kind of match that energy. And so I'm like, oh no, I've got something that this particular group will really like. And it usually works out. But yeah, there's definitely, and I think some of it is just when you see as much stuff as I do, I'm attracted to different. And I think most of us are. Give me something I hadn't seen a million times. And then sometimes if it's really well done, that's where some of these perhaps strange choices around awards time come from, is because it's just different.
I do have a question
original.
on those
Yeah.
screeners. So you're in there with a bunch of professionals, and then you walk out. Is there pressure to like talk? Like, are you have to have your opinion fully formed? Because I can see, like, if my uncle was in there, if Matt was in there, he'd come out there just like guns a-blazing. Like, that was the worst thing I've ever seen. Like what's that vibe like after that? After a screen?
Yeah,
like
it
that?
can be. When I first started doing this, I felt like I had to say something brilliant about everything. Something insightful, even if it was bad. Have some brilliant reason that it wasn't that good, and then you're trying to whittle it down to a certain number of words and everything. And then I would see my colleagues who'd been doing it a lot longer than I had been at that point just walk out, and the rep is eagerly, like, with their little notebook, "What'd you think?" And they just go, "Yeah, I wasn't a fan." And so they just know they can put they can put you down as you're not going to be a positive review when the reviews come out. But the funny thing is with the way all the Google metrics and everything works, is it's almost like any review is a good review because you're pushing it up in the search engines and all that kind of stuff. Because I've had a couple of times that it would be a young filmmaker, they're looking for distribution. I don't want to put a torpedo in their side just because I didn't like it. Maybe a bunch of other people would like it. And I would tell the rep, "Look, if you want me to write about something else this week, I can. I've got other stuff to choose from." And they'd be like, "Oh, no, it would just help our profile that, your outlet just reviewed it at all." And I'm like, "Okay, well, you've been warned." And so they would take the bad publicity over none.
So I have to say, I have a follow up to your first visit on the show before the
Sure.
Oscars, because you predicted the Oscar winner, Nora, and I saw that film after we did the show, and I would say about 20 minutes into the show, I looked at my wife and I go, "This is going to win Best Oscar," and I said, not only that, but and then after like 30 minutes into it, I said, if she does not win Best Actress, there's nothing. Forget it. It's over with. She was phenomenal in that film.
Yes.
And that was the Best Picture. And I saw 3 out of the 4 that were nominated, so I didn't see them all. But I don't know how something could top that. It was so original. I mean, everything you mentioned on the show
Funny.
before the Oscar. Funny. Everything.
And just for those of us who hadn't seen Nora, what's the premise? What's the plot of that movie?
Scott?
Yeah, she's Nora. The title character is a sex worker who is hired basically to be a companion to a very wealthy Russian's son. And then the question is, as they spend this time together, are they falling in love? Is it really some kind of, Cinderella and Prince Charming kind of situation, or is it just kind of affection as a transaction? And so you're just left wondering as the film develops, are these people really falling for each other? Is this like real? Or is this just, wishful thinking, and no, this doesn't mean any more than you might think that it would? And so they keep you in suspense throughout the movie with making things ambiguous enough that you're not really for sure how it's gonna end. Are we gonna go with the fairy tale ending or not?
So it's almost like a Pretty Woman type of
Right. Wouldn't it be?
plot.
That's what I was thinking. Wouldn't it be neat if that guy sat down and said, "You know what? I don't know if this is a Pretty Woman thing or not." Like, if you referenced another movie in the movie, like you
Right.
never see that happen. It's kind of cool. All right.
Right.
So this is what I read, that most Oscar movies are not released in the summer. They're released in November. But every once in a while, it happens. Are there any movies, we can start kind of talking about them, are there any movies you think that are going to be played out during the summer that might actually be nominated for an Academy Award?
I think that I think Sinners could potentially be an Academy Award player. It's not technically a summer film because it came out in April, but it's a non-fall film. Of course, the biggest one, and it lands with critics when you see Oppenheimer dropping in July.
Right.
And you're like, wow, these folks are confident that this is going to be the best movie of the year because they are not hiding it in Oscar season. They're putting it out in summer season and convinced that that momentum will just last. But I think this particular summer, you have F1 the Formula One
Oh,
racing
Brad
film
Pitt.
with
Brad
Brad
Pitt,
Pitt.
yeah.
And I think that could very easily get some Oscar love. Spike Lee's new movie with Denzel Washington, Highest to Lowest, is coming out. Matter of fact, it's going to have its Cannes premiere later this week, I believe. And it is a remake of a very famous Japanese crime film called High and Low. And High and Low is one of my favorite all-time movies. It's from 1965, an Akira Kurosawa Japanese crime film. When you watch it, you will go, oh, that's where everybody for the last 60 years has been stealing stuff for their crime movies. And so
Is that the
Spike-
same thing like the Departed? Wasn't that a Japanese film?
yeah, Internal Affairs. Yeah.
That was the title.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was the title, and it was the same exact premise, same
Right.
exact everything. It became so popular overseas that there's actually, I'm sorry, it's called Infernal Affairs. It's a play on words. I said that wrong, but they have Infernal Affairs 1, 2, and 3. There's actually like a trilogy box set out of Asia of those films, so it's like having The Departed 1, 2, and 3. But yeah, so the the remake nature of those. Anyway, I lost my train of thought there. Sorry, but
I do have an Oscar question. So there's a new category
Sure.
this year, casting. Well, no, I think
It seems like such a silly thing.
how do you like? I mean, it's hard for casual viewers to evaluate any of those awards, but like casting seems like this extra like deep layer of like, what does that mean? Who do you like? Are we talking about who it is? Is that not the same as the actors and actresses? So just be curious to get your thoughts on that.
yeah, I think it's kind of like saying with the SAG Awards, they have for a long time had best ensemble. And so what they're saying is, yeah, that is the best batch of actors and actresses that were put together for that film. So what we're going to do is recognize the person who made that happen. And so best casting,
okay.
best casting is going to be who assembled this amazing group. But once again, if say taking Oppenheimer, if you're working with Christopher Nolan on a $11 billion movie and just anybody that you want to put in a role, you can put in that role. Seems like that person will probably have an easier time getting nominated for best casting. And so I would really like it to see it be, and I'm sure there will be some, the people who spotted the unknowns, the people who, spotted Mikey Madison and said she's perfect for Honora, rather than some established actress or what have you, and see kind of the surprise performances recognized through that casting category. But I'll be curious to see. They don't have all the parameters of how that's going to be chosen or what the requirements are to be a nominee. It's supposed to start in, I believe, 2027. So they've got some fleshing out to do of that.
Yeah, I was actually commenting, I think what you were alluding to, I've read stuff on BuzzFeed before. I can't remember the categories, but it's like, actors who kind of ruined the movie. There was no chemistry. Like, for example, I can't remember the movie, but it was like Laura Linney was in a movie, and they're basically saying, yeah, she just was the wrong actress, had no chemistry with the lead actor. So, yeah, that is a real thing. If you cast the wrong person, like Daniel Day-Lewis is Lincoln, right? I mean, he's perfect. He already looks like Lincoln. You're not going to cast, Lil Wayne as Abraham Lincoln, right? Yeah, so.
Okay, you know what? I would watch that. I would literally watch that. Okay, so with that said, the wrong person. I want to get this out of the way because I've seen some trailers.
Well, every movie that Amy Adams is in, that's it for
Ooh.
my wife and I.
I can top that.
Every fucking movie she's in, we're like, forget it. She doesn't fit in the movie. I don't know what it is. I can't stand her. She is not fit for any movie I've seen. She's not in the right role. And I could go on and on and on. I can't even think of a movie where the one movie is the Being Julia, the Julia Childs movie. That was it. After that, she was cast in many, many roles, and she was casted wrong, and she ruined the movie for me.
So that person would not win Best Casting. That's what you're saying.
Whoever you put Amy Adams in a movie, forget it.
Okay, but let me top that. So Scott, let me say this to you. If I said to you, Dakota Johnson is the worst actress of all time, and then gave you 3 weeks to come up with someone else who has been in as many movies as she has and is worse, could you do it?
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I could do that. I could do that, but I would need the 3 weeks. I can't do it. I can't do it off the top of my head. But yeah, no, it. I think that there is choices that actors make and acting styles, and I think some acting styles translate well on film, and I think some don't. And so, like, that becomes my question is, like, I absolutely hated, who was it that played the mom in The Fabelmans? Good actress. She played essentially Steven Spielberg's mom in The Fabelmans, because The Fabelmans was made by him about him being a little kind of child prodigy
Right,
of a
right.
filmmaker.
Oh, you know what?
And
I
I'm
cannot
looking,
think of her name right now.
but
Steven
I
is
thought
looking
it
it
was
up.
terrible.
Oh,
Michelle
Michelle
Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, Michelle Williams is a fantastic actress. I thought that performance was terrible. But here's the question that you have to ask yourself. Are you telling me that Steven Spielberg didn't get the performance that he asked for?
Right.
So she may not have been making those choices and modulating some of those things as much as him. And so, I can't imagine that a guy with the budget and the time that Steven Spielberg has, looks at that later and goes, "Oh, God dang, that's awful." He got exactly what he wanted from that performance. I just didn't think it worked. I thought it was just kind of overdone and kind of. She reminded me of like when Mike Myers does the older Jewish lady character,
Right.
on Saturday Night Live. That's what her performance reminded me of, and I thought it was just the terrible, and yet Michelle Williams is an amazing actress, and she's made a bunch of indie films with a filmmaker by the name of Kelly Reichardt. And every one of those is just a masterclass in acting. And so at times when I see perhaps an Amy Adams or somebody like you guys are talking about, maybe not just killing it, my question is, I don't know, did they not have the time to crack the character? Did they not kind of figure out the way they needed to bring it across? I would add Arrival for Amy Adams. I think that's a fantastic performance by her. But it's a collaborative medium, and so the idea that the actor is only doing what the actor wants to do may not be right. Though I will tell you, anybody telling Brad Pitt how to give his line readings. So once you become, a star of a certain level, you're probably not getting told what to do.
Well, how about Marlon Brando? He'd refuse to remember his lines. He'd have them like posted on post-it notes behind him because he became such a big actor at the time, not just physically, but obviously just stature-wise. Yeah, he didn't even, he could he kind of did what he wanted to, and they just kind of had to deal with it. So
they have some famous, photos from on set of Robert Duvall from The Godfather.
Yeah.
As Tom Hagen, the family attorney, and they have a shot of him where his chest looks like one of those sandwich boards that you see people wearing, sometimes advertising stuff, and it is Brando's lines.
Yeah.
So that
No
Brando
way.
could
Yeah.
Brando could basically look at his chest and do his lines.
I read Al
So,
Pacino's autobiography, and he talked about Godfather 1 and 2 and 3 for
Yep.
that matter. But he talked about that and that process. But he didn't diminish. I mean, he said none of that diminished anything he did.
Right.
It was just one of those
Right.
things. It was almost like a reminder where things were going. Otherwise, he could just take it to a whole nother level. It was kept him in check. It was his way of keeping himself in check to make the director happy.
Well, the old 1978 Superman, where he played Superman's dad and is, sending the baby off into space. The story was, which I assume it's true, same thing. They had his lines on the baby's diaper. And so he would do his lines off of the baby's diaper, and it's kind of funny because if you go back and you look, the sight lines don't quite match. I mean, you can tell that he's looking at least a little bit down or a little bit. So I mean, I believe every bit of it. He doesn't look like he's looking Robert Duvall right in the eye. It looks like he's looking just a little bit below him. Yeah. And so I think that is the eyes, like a newscaster. His eyes are flicking down, picking up the script, and then looking at somebody. And so if you know that going in, you can spot a little bit of it.
That is crazy. Okay, so talking about movies that are coming out. Tell me if
Yep.
this has ever happened before. Stephen King has 3 novel movies coming out this summer. Life of Chuck. Okay, but
Right.
weirdly,
Which I've heard is great.
it's already won. I guess it came out in Toronto in the fall and already
Yep,
won
that's
awards.
where I heard it was
but
great.
here's
Yep.
the weird thing: Stephen King wrote a book called The Long Walk, and they actually, weirdly enough, made The Running Man out of it, which is completely different than the book. But here's the weird thing that's happening this summer: they're remaking The Running Man, and they're making the actual short story that he wrote, The Long Walk. Has anyone ever had one book that was made into 2 movies in the same year that you know of?
I can't think of anything. We have had the years where a premise that seemed a little far-fetched that it would be repeated. There were 2 asteroids coming to smash the Earth movie. Deep Impact and Armageddon came out the same summer. We had a couple movies that came out the same summer about drilling into the Earth's core to somehow save the world. I can't recall those off the top of my head, but there were 2 of those. And so there have been movies where just oddly, there were the volcano movies. There was Dante's Peak, and then another volcano movie.
I remember that. Yeah.
At
Joe
the-
versus
at the-
Volcano was out too.
and so you have these themes that it seemed like maybe there was buzz in Hollywood about the idea around the same time, and so they got on the same track and wound up kind of coming out around the same time. But no, and don't forget that just as far as Stephen King and his prolific being turned into film, The Monkey, which has already come out this year, is a Stephen King story. So you've got even
I
another
forgot about
one.
that.
Yeah, you got another one, which I thought was a blast. I think Osgood Perkins, the director of The Monkey, is just a hoot. So,
But
he's great.
Stephen King's had years where multiple books turned into movies and came out that year, which is
Sure.
that's crazy in itself. But what Matt's saying is now he's taking it to the next
Yeah.
level. That's insane.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, one
Exactly.
book, 2
Yeah,
movies,
yeah.
and neither one of the movies is even close to it. Okay, so let me ask you this, and we'll keep getting into it, but I only watch movies with high quality tie-ins to fast food or mobile phone companies. Okay, and I'm sure you're probably the same way. You probably choose your movies the tie-in.
Based on product placement?
Based on product, based on the tie-in. Like if you go, so here's what I noticed. Snow White had donuts at Krispy Kreme. You could get Snow White donuts. I'm not even messing with you. There is a Mission Impossible burger at Burger King, and the new Tron movie, which
There's a new
love
Tron movie?
Yeah, there's a new Tron Ares has a
Right.
Tron Blizzard at Dairy Queen. When you see that stuff, do you laugh or cry?
What I usually wish is that like small indie films had that kind of a product placement, so that they could make more movies that I find are interesting. But it is crazy that that comes into they call it pre-sales, and so it's like we're going to feature a particular product, and this director is putting out the movie, and so your product will appear at some point in the movie. And so how much money would that be worth it to you guys for us to do that? And so they try to raise some of the budget on the front end. I will tell you, though, my absolute favorite of all of those, because of just the obscure absurdity of it all, is when I was a kid, there was a breakfast cereal called Kaboom. I never really ate it, but it was a cereal on the aisles. I remember it. And in Kill Bill, one of the actresses reaches up into the cabinet and brings down a box of Kaboom. And the irony is that's the cereal box she's hidden her gun in.
Right.
And a little bit later it goes Kaboom in the scene. So that is a great one for a truly obscure product placement that has always been one of my favorites.
I love the concept of that. Okay, so I actually did a little bit of research, and when we're talking about summer blockbusters,
Right.
and I came about this, and it's a little dark, but there's a public relations guy who came up with the term, and it was, ready for this, based on a World War II blockbuster bomb that basically destroyed everything it touched. And he was like, it affected everything. He came up with this idea, and he used that as his idea for a blockbuster. That's where he kind of came up with that thing.
Right.
And then in 1975, the first true blockbuster was Jaws.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that crazy?
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Jaws, I actually, because I knew that we were going to discuss the summer blockbuster concept, I looked that up, and Jaws made, in its day, 1975, on its initial run, $260 billion. And so adjusted for inflation, that's $1.5 billion dollars that it made by modern terms. So it was as big as any of the superhero movies, close to an Avatar level kind of success. And I saw it. I remember seeing it. I had shark PTSD for the rest of my days, but I did see it in theaters when it came out.
All right, so let's do Avatar. There's a third one.
Yep.
The first time I saw it, I saw a thing, and I know it was called Fire and Ash, but I was absolutely sure it was Fire and Ass because I saw number 2. Now, have you seen this? Have you seen this one yet?
I mean, I have seen the 2 that are out. I have not seen the new one that is coming. So,
okay. So
no.
Could you, in based on what you've seen, would you say that you have a positive vibe on Avatar, Fire and Ash? And by the way, I will tell you that I thought the second one, after seeing the first one, I thought was fantastical. I thought the second one, I made it about a third of the way through and just went, I'm watching the same movie over again.
Wait, didn't they have the same villain in the second one?
Same villain.
Oh,
yeah.
That kind of defeats the purpose.
I mean, what's the buzz about this thing?
No, other than the fact that it had a little bit of footage shown at CinemaCon, I haven't heard much about it. It's a late in the year release. I believe it's a December release date. And it really seems like what happens with the biggest, if you go back and look at the biggest blockbusters, they are summer movies or they are December releases that are counter programming to all the heavy Oscar stuff. And so all the Avatar movies will be December releases once the third one comes out.
Oh, yeah.
Star Wars had staked out December. But a lot of the other franchises, everything from Mission Impossible to back when they were making Indiana Jones movies and stuff like that, those were all summer properties. And so it seems like if you go down the list of the highest grossing movies, you will almost always see June, July, or December as the release date. I will tell you that Avatar absolutely knocked me out with its IMAX 3D. And I thought, wow, this is unbelievable, kind of a quantum shift in technology, and this is just going to be amazing. And then when I saw the second one, it was fine, but it just kind of made me think more of the same. I wasn't as, the earth didn't shake when I saw the second one like it did when I saw the first one. I can remember literally sitting there in the theater and just the opening shot of them kind of coming out of the little freezer trays that they're in kind of, cryo sleep or whatever, and the little tray comes out as if it's going to land in your lap. And I remember just sitting there and I just said, holy shit, when that happened. And it was just unbelievable, the way that it was shot and how real that 3D was. And the home Avatar 3D is amazing. My projector will do home 3D. And it and Gravity are a couple of the greatest, home 3D titles that you could get. But it does seem to be, for me, kind of diminishing returns. It's like, well, let's do that again. And so it's like riding the same roller coaster over and over. At some point, you're like, I want a different roller coaster.
So I heard something crazy the other day. There are only 10 or 11 true IMAX theaters in the world.
That sounds right. That sounds right. The expression in the industry is LIMAX. A not real IMAX theater. It's just a big old screen. But I should be able to tell you what it is. But IMAX has very specific dimensions. and a very specific aspect ratio. And so there are only, like you're saying, a handful of theaters in the country that are kind of true IMAX.
No,
And it's like showing a movie on the side of a building. I mean, they're immense, but everything else is they keep the proportions so that they can use something shot in an IMAX aspect ratio, but they're kind of shrunken versions.
Yeah, so I learned that it's all these theaters say they have IMAX. It's not real IMAX, but
we have one in the museum, or
that's not one of them. There's literally only 11, and then even so, these movies like Sinners was shot on IMAX. They just have their whatever it is, 12 copies, and they send those out to those theaters, and that's it. And then everything else is just, I mean, a quote unquote ripoff of that, which I just thought was wild. I mean, I've been lied to my whole life. Like, go and watch IMAX.
Welcome to the real world.
So do we have one in Chicago?
No. Not that I know. At least what I was listening to was like a couple in L.A. and then there maybe New York and then a couple like internationally. Texas was one.
So let's jump on this. Scott, they have 4D and 5D movie theaters now. Have you seen a movie in either one of those yet?
I have done the 4D one where like the seats will shake and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But the funny thing was I didn't know that's what I was doing. And so I went in to see the movie, and all of a sudden the seats are moving and everything. And I was like, what, did everybody feel that? I thought it'd been like an earthquake or something. And everybody's looking at me like I'm an idiot. And they're like, dude, that's part of the movie. And I was like, what? And I had no idea because a lot of times at these screenings, they have specific rows that they want the press to sit on anyway. So it didn't really occur to me that sitting in these little funky chairs was anything any different than this is just the press section for this movie. And then the seats started moving and I realized what was going on. And and that's where you get the you guys may remember the big controversy with Martin Scorsese a couple of years back saying that kind of cinema is dead, all everybody wants is just amusement park rides as movies. And so everybody who was into the Marvel universe was, oh, what does that idiot know? And and it caused this big kind of back then Twitter war between him and fans of these kind of spectacle films. But I could just see him sitting down in a theater in one of those chairs that vibrates to watch Thor or something and leave thinking exactly that.
So I was watching a different movie recently, and then there's that new Alex Garland film Warfare, which is just supposed to be really loud and whatever. And it was in a theater where there were multiple like stories, and it was a quiet part of the movie, and we just hear this unbelievable boom from above us, and it literally sounded like a bomb went off in the movie theater. But it was just Warfare. It was that movie above us, and everybody in the theater was like looking up, like, what is happening? But yeah, it was just another movie. That's kind of like 4D.
Wow, and they have 5D. Okay, so there are 5D movie theaters that include. You ready for this? Moving seats, like you said in the 4D, wind, mist, heat, and even smells. Could you? I mean,
no thanks.
Well, the first time
wait, hold on. You've seen a ton of movies. You're
I
saying
don't want to smell. No, I don't want to smell any of that shit. No way.
So I experienced that for the first time a long time ago in Epcot Center when they had the alien invasion thing. Yeah, it's where you got sprayed. They had the speaker. It was unbelievable. The snout of the alien is breathing on you.
Yeah, I went to a theater like that, I think, in Florida. Yeah, the mist comes out of the chairs or something, and,
Yeah, that has to be the next thing. I mean, if you're trying to get people to come to the movie theater, if somebody says, I saw, I'm just going to say, a vampire movie, and I smelled the vampire, I mean, that's got to be pretty cool, right?
What does a vampire smell like?
Scott, you've seen a lot of movies. What does a vampire smell?
Yeah.
What does the old lady smell like with that pimp oil perfume, that potpourri type perfume? He probably smells like that because he's dead, right? So he's got to Irish himself up. So probably smells something like semi-rotted flesh and very sweet perfume.
So what do you think? I mean, is it a thing where it has to be the natural progression? Is 5D or 4D? Does it have to be the next thing that comes up?
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, it's a good question, and it's certainly, but it's also, nothing new. I mean, they used to have, what was that movie, The Tingler in the 1950s?
Oh, yeah, where they electrified.
Yeah, exactly. And so they basically had like joy buzzers in the seats, and so then when somebody got zapped by the creature in the movie, it would jolt you a little bit in your seat. And so I think these kind of gimmicks have been with us for a long time, but I can't think of anything short of those types of blow 'em up kind of films where it would apply probably.
So gimmicks and not anything core to what we're going to see.
Right. I wouldn't expect so. I think that probably the biggest thing that we're always debating is theater going dying, and what will the future be of movies, and a lot of art house theaters going out of business and stuff like that. And so I'm still a believer that VR and the headset driven kind of stuff, once it really reaches its capability, peak capability, that's going to be the biggest test. Because I find it interesting. I played around with one of those Apple Vision Pros, and it's interesting to me is the psychology of this I found really interesting, which is if you want to watch a movie on it, they put you in a virtual theater.
Right.
So literally you look around yourself and there are theater seats, and you can choose where you want to be. Do I want to be the front row of a balcony? Do I want to be in the lower level about halfway back? And so I thought it was a very interesting thing that, what may replace theaters is something that is mimicking the theatrical experience. So really kind of bizarre.
Or what about an actual physical movie theater, but there's no screen in front of you? The screen is the virtual goggles that you put on right there in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Because, the one thing that would at least put back in is the communal aspect of it. When a joke drops, lots of people are laughing. When a jump scare occurs, you can feel and hear the people around you jumping and everything like that. And so that's what is always, kind of
plus two, it eliminates
you don't like
disappointing.
Mark, you don't like that concept?
Go to a theater with other people and be blindfolded.
Yeah, I don't want to do that either.
No, but it also eliminates the variable. Like if you're hypersensitive to people, if you're hypersensitive to people talking in the theater or moving around or chomping on popcorn, if you have those virtual goggles on, you're sort of immersed in your own head. So even though you may have people next to you and in front of you and behind you, you're completely.
That's the scary thing. Because I'm friends with Matt, so I'm not the whole time. I'm thinking, all right, who around me has their pants off? Who around me is doing this?
The
or
answer
that?
is all of. The answer is all of them.
Yeah. It's going to be. You know what it's going to be? It's going to be a 1970s X-rated movie where everybody in there is absolutely stone cold naked.
Well, Ted's theory.
What's that?
If any guy, and Ted's theory is, if someone goes to the movie theater by themselves, they're going there to masturbate.
Not all the time.
No, that's not.
It's literally what he said.
On the show, we've talked about this many times. That is your theory. If you see somebody in the theater by themselves, that's why they're there.
So the movie doesn't matter what it is.
I don't know. It's your thing.
Yeah, that's
your thing.
Okay, so
I'm just traumatized by the Pee Wee Herman incident from years ago.
Let's get away from that.
We're taking 4DX to a whole new level now.
Yeah,
Holy
right.
shit! That's going to be like for Ted. That's going to be like 7D. And that's at least 3Ds too many. You don't want that. All right, so Scott, I want you to go in the Wayback Machine, and there was a year or a year and a half where Michael Caine literally was in every movie made. I don't know if you remember this. Now, here's what I want to know, no matter what kind of movie it was. Is Pedro Pascal the new Michael Caine? And, follow-up, would it be possible to have too much Pedro? Please answer the question.
Oh, wow. I'm a huge fan of Pedro Pascal, so I can't. Ever since I saw him give that opening monologue on Game of Thrones, when he met Tyrion Lannister for the first time, I was a fan. And then when you hear the story, that literally that is the first scene that they shot after he signed his contract for that show. He said he literally got off the plane, went in, they put on his costume and his makeup. He said, "Hey, nice to meet you, Peter Dinklage," and shot that scene. So he's an amazing talent. It's funny, Michael Caine.
One of the best death scenes ever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And you could just feel it coming too. I was like, no, stop gloating. Stop gloating. No, gloating never goes. And then bam.
Oh man.
But it's funny because Michael Caine in interviews is very candid about the fact of, he said, hey, I was getting a lot of work and I wanted to make the money. And somebody asked him about, I think it was Jaws the Revenge, which I think is like Jaws 4 or 5 or whatever. And they said, do you consider that to be a good movie? And he was like, I have no idea. I never even saw it. But you know what? It bought my mom a new house.
Yeah, wait. I thought Nicolas Cage was in every movie at some point.
No, it was a weird. Yeah, it was a weird thing where he was literally in all this.
No, you're right.
And now, as I'm looking at these summer blockbusters, Pedro Pascal is in everything. So I will follow it up with this. How many times? And you're a Marvel guy. I know that you said your favorite Marvel movie was Captain America. Was it Universal Soldier? Was that the one?
Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
How many times can the Fantastic Four be made with 4 different people before someone finally says enough and demands retribution?
No, you're right. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. They keep going back to that well. And the funny thing is that was one of my favorite comic books as a kid.
Yes.
I was a big comic book person. And so I love Daredevil. And so I've enjoyed the television series that they've done with that. And I was a big fan of Fantastic Four, big fan of X-Men. And it's so funny because, when I was a kid, the only thing that would be a movie or whatever, it was animated. I mean, there was no live action stuff with superheroes. And so it was almost like the monkey's paw, kind of be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, if only they would have superhero movies with people. And then it was like, fast forward 10, 12 years, and you're like, oh my God, could they make anything other than superhero movies with real people?
Well, that was the best part of that was the best part of Electric Company when Spider-Man was on.
Yeah, oh yeah,
that was unbelievable, dude. That just because I loved Spider-Man, and when that came, you always watched it for that. It was like because you never saw it outside of animation or the comic book.
You're exactly right.
Awesome.
Wow. Okay, so can
then we get Superman this summer. You like the reboots and the
Superdog
and all of that.
His dog, right?
Superman with a brand new Superman coming. Yeah. They do.
I gotta admit, I do like that trailer. I do.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm a sucker for a Superman movie. I was thinking the other day about kind of. I wonder what it says about kind of the national mindset when Batman is always a hit, and it is a super dark, cynical, just kind of ugly version of a superhero movie almost every time they do it. Mm-hmm. And then Superman is the pure, kind-hearted, whatnot, and it tanks. And so I just wonder what that says about kind of like the national mindset that we can get into the gritty, Dark Knight, down and dirty kind of superhero, even though he's been around since Adam West was playing him in the 60s. But the guy who's the nice guy, just not buying it.
That is a weird thing to think about, right? I feel like
not only that, but everybody loves the spin-offs with the villains too from Batman movies.
Yeah, right? The Joker,
the Penguin. I mean, it's crazy. You're right.
Yeah, I loved Gotham. That was one of my favorite things of all time. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so what is a movie or two that you've heard about? Say you knew that it was going to come out 2 or 3 years ago, and it's coming out this summer that you absolutely, literally can't wait to see. Something that literally you've been thinking about for several years. Like I've heard they might make this, and they finally made it. What's something that's coming out that you're just like, I got to get this?
Let's see. I would tell you, for me, what happens a lot of times with me when it comes to looking forward to something is it's just the creators that are involved. And so I have this weird shut off where I'm like, there's a new movie from who? Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to know anything about it. And so then when people are like, give me a plot synopsis, give me whatever, I'm in that funny middle ground of I can't tell you what it's about because I don't want to know what it's about. And so a couple of mine for this summer are, did you all ever see that Australian horror movie that came out a couple of years ago, Talk to Me?
No,
the one with the embalmed The embalmed hand.
What? Oh, stop it! You literally okay. So just go ahead
Is that
and
like-
tell
is
me
that like Mr.
because
Hand?
you had me an embalmed hand.
From the Addams
All
family.
right,
That
so the legend in the story of Talk to Me is that there was this medium, and when the medium died, somebody chopped off the medium's hand, and so they have this embalmed hand in the movie that they claim is the medium's hand. And so if you reach out and grab the hand and say that phrase, "Talk to me," a demon or a spirit or a ghost will reveal itself to you, and you will basically find yourself sitting there holding the hand of the ghost, the departed person. It became such a big deal that I literally have a replica of one of the hands that a PR rep sent me in my room here somewhere, except it's ceramic. But it became a huge horror film and everything. I thought it was incredible. It was incredibly creative. And it was kind of a metaphor for like drug addiction and everything like that. It was like once you touched the hand and did that, you wanted to do it again and wanted to do it again. But what happens if you do it repeatedly? Does that barrier somehow break down where you're letting these ghosts or whatnot into your world?
Like Flatliners. Flatliners is like that.
Kiefer Sutherland, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so their new film, which is hold on, I had it right here in front of me. Bring Her Back is coming out at the end
This
of
looked
May.
terrifying. Is that A24?
And so that is one that I'm really looking forward to seeing. And then Ari Aster, the guy who made Hereditary and Midsommar and a number of other movies, he has a new movie with Joaquin Phoenix in it that is coming out this summer called Eddington.
Oh, Pedro
And
Pascal's
all I
in
know,
that.
yep, and all I need
Of course he is.
all I had to know was that has something to do with nuclear tests in the Southwest. Might be a period piece, might not be. I couldn't quite tell. But I'm kind of staying away from knowing too much about that.
What's the
And
title
so
of that
these are-
again, Scott? What's
Eddington.
It is called Eddington, which I believe is the name of the town
okay.
that the film takes place in. And then one that does star Pedro Pascal. I don't know if you guys saw a movie in, I think it was 2023, called Past Lives.
No.
And it was a character drama, a small character drama that got a lot of Oscar attention.
buzz. It was pretty
and
good.
so that filmmaker, female filmmaker by the name of Celine Song, has a new movie coming out called Materialists. And that does star Pedro Pascal.
And that is Dakota
And,
Johnson, though.
And so I am still down if Celine Song made the film.
Oh, you're going to be
And,
very disappointed. I've seen the trailer, and Dakota Johnson puts all of her effort into it, which is zero effort. And yes, and Pedro Pascal and Chris Evans are just in that. I mean, I love those two guys. I love those.
Yep.
But she's a lifeless. She's a lifeless. If she was clay and you could make it into anything, you would turn her into a ball of clay.
So Eddington has to be. So if Joaquin Phoenix is in it, there has to be like this crazy fucking nutty character that he's going to portray, right?
You would certainly
'Cause
think.
I just
you would-
watched for the first time The Master.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, dude! How did he not
Yeah.
win Best Actor for that film?
Yeah, and Philip Seymour Hoffman. is
Yeah, well,
amazing
yeah,
in
he's
that
amazing
movie.
in everything. He's the reason why I
Yep.
wanted to watch that movie. But
Yep.
oh my god, Joaquin Phoenix! I
Yeah.
didn't even know how he created that character.
That's my favorite Paul Thomas Anderson movie. Most people say There Will Be Blood, but mine's The Master.
man, it's.
Oh, see, there's so many things I gotta watch.
And I didn't know that was his film
Yeah.
until 2 days after I saw it.
Well, one that I can recommend to you guys, especially if you like any kind of a horror type film, which I thought this was really clever. There's a movie coming out, I think, in June, and it's a low budget movie, or I should say, lower budget movie. It doesn't look cheap in any way, but it's definitely not any kind of a blockbuster or anything. It's called Good Boy, and it is based on the idea that, if you've ever been sitting there and your dog is kind of just supposedly looking at nothing, and growls a little bit or acts a little off, and you feel the hair on the back of your neck kind of stand up, like, what is my dog seeing that is in here that I'm not seeing? And so it is a ghost story told from the point of view of the dog. And it's incredibly well
That's
done.
good.
It has an amazing the origin of it was the guy, I believe the guy who made the movie may be a professional dog trainer, but he used his own dog as the protagonist in the film. And so it's incredible to think of a dog giving a performance, but it does. And I thought it was so much fun. I saw it through the Overlook Film Festival in New Orleans a couple months back, or about a month back. And it was, to me, the standout of the festival. And so last I spoke to their reps, they're thinking that it will probably be maybe a June release, I think. And then it's going to go to Shudder at some point, the streaming service. But really, really clever film. I mean, like, you go 45 minutes before you see a shot above kind of human, waist level on a person. Like you don't even see the dog's master facially for like 45 minutes because it's all these low to the ground shots where you're following the dog through the movie. So you're not literally looking through the dog's eyes first person wise, but you are low to the ground and you are basically inhabiting the dog's world.
The dog
and
is
so it's very clever.
the dog is the first like person credited on Letterboxd. His name's Indy.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Amy Adams.
That's awesome. Now Mark will not watch that because he doesn't like ghosts. He doesn't believe in ghosts. Doesn't like ghost movies.
I love ghost movies.
But you don't believe in ghosts.
Do you have to
In
believe
movies,
in ghosts
I mean,
to like them?
Yeah, no.
Yes.
No.
I absolutely okay. I absolutely think you do, but okay. So let's keep going. Bob Odenkirk.
Sure.
Bob Odenkirk, one of my favorite actors of all time. Mr. Show with Bob and David is so beyond funny. If you've never seen it, it's one of the greatest things ever. He's doing Nobody 2. Have you seen it yet, or have you heard anything about what it is, or how how it is?
Nothing so far. But I love the first one. I love the idea of the unassuming guy who is just an amazing badass, and so I loved that movie, and have enjoyed him from his TV shows, with in the Breaking Bad universe, and so I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, actually, what's funny is I never watched Breaking Bad. I think I watched half of one episode, but I watched Better Call Saul. Just because of Bob Odenkirk, he's that good. He is that amazing. All right. So let's do a couple. Let's see. John Wick is doing. There's a John Wick spinoff with
Ballerina.
Oh my God! And I have to say this. Ana de Armas has now replaced Gal Gadot. She is the most insanely hot, ass kicky person on the planet. Is this? I mean, is this just shoot 'em up with boobs, or is this got some kind of
Is she dating?
merit to
Is
it?
she dating Bill Belichick too? Oh no, that's the other one.
So what's the buzz
Exactly.
on? What's the buzz on Ballerina?
Supposedly, the buzz is high on that one because it comes from the creators of that universe. So the people who have choreographed and filmed the action are the same people who have been doing the John Wick movies. Keanu makes an appearance in it. I don't know if it's much more than a cameo, but he does appear in it. Her profile is pretty high after being in Knives Off and some other films. Don't know if you guys saw some years back Charlize in Atomic Blonde, but but I'm hoping it's like that level of female action greatness because that movie is just a jaw dropper when it comes to the action choreography and the stunts and all of that. And so I'm hoping that Ballerina pays off. And then of course they've already greenlit John Wick 5. And so we don't know how that's gonna come together. The guess is that it's somehow a movie between the previous movies, some kind of little side adventure or something, but then other people are saying that no, it's going to be a sequel that have nothing to do with the subject matter of the first four. That the whole dispute with the High Table and the Assassin's Guild and all this kind of stuff will be over, and that it will just be John Wick in a completely different situation.
So when we were on, when you were on last time, we also talked about Quentin Tarantino, his films, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is one of my favorites.
Awesome.
Is that prequel with Brad Pitt going to happen, or is that just rumors?
They are saying Netflix announced it, and David Fincher. Okay. David Fincher is attached. I mean, the guy who made Fight Club and Zodiac and all of those films. I mean, if it's a Fincher film, if that's what he wants to do, it'll get made. And especially since he made The Killer for Netflix with Michael Fassbender year or so ago, 2 years ago now, maybe. If he's committed to it and you don't see anything in the trades about he's pulled out, then
so it's not going to be
it's going to happen.
It's not going to be a Quentin Tarantino film, then, right?
No,
he's going to give them the rights to that. And,
supposedly, it is going to be co-written by Quentin, and I think this is Quentin's got this thing, and I wish he'd get over it because he's such a great filmmaker that he wants to make 10 movies,
right? No,
and that's it, and he's made 9. So I think the idea was he really wanted to make this movie himself, but he decided, I don't want to go back to that well again for my 10th and final film. So I'm going to farm it out to somebody who's a great filmmaker as well. That's kind of cool. Let him make it.
So he is going to have like an 11th film then. In a way, that's the way he's going to keep going, right? Yeah.
Franchise himself.
Yeah.
All right. So let me throw this out to you guys. What is a summer movie? Because we've all, we've done a lot of research for this. We've looked at everything. What's something that you guys are looking forward to seeing this summer? Ted, this doesn't. Wait, you don't have any idea?
I don't have.
Yeah,
I'll have to get back to you on that.
Yeah, you know what? It'd be like, Ted, what kind of brain surgery would you like to do? Ted doesn't have an answer, but Mark, what movie are you interested in seeing?
The Superman movie, for sure.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean. Listen, when I was at that age, I was born in '73. So when Christopher Reeve and those those Superman movies came out, I was blown away, and that was my introduction to Gene Hackman. And dude, it was just fantastic films. Christopher Reeve was awesome, and then I liked Henry Cavill. What is it?
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill. I loved his portrayal. I loved the way he picked up the franchise, and I thought it was awesome. And I loved the backstory. Everything about it was great. So I'm really looking forward to the next guy, and the previews are really, they look amazing. I mean,
when you think about how far have special effects come?
Oh gosh,
do you remember what the tagline for the original Superman was?
No,
it wasn't the Man of Steel. It was when they were saying wasn't the look in the sky is a bird, is a plane.
Well, that's the little that's the saying that came over from the TV show,
right?
But the tagline, the marketing tagline was, "You will believe a man can fly."
Oh, okay, nice.
Oh, wow!
Because they had finally cracked that as a special effect.
Yeah, when he took her off the balcony, that was awesome.
Yeah. So you think how far things have come when,
true,
in 1978 or whenever that was, they were, singing the praises of being able to make a guy look like he could fly.
Yeah, that's kind of like with the lightsabers, right? With Star Wars. I mean, it was so real, and it was actually a level that we have never seen before, right? And it was so real. It was amazing. It just really amazed you. All right, Steven, the movie you're looking forward to?
Lilo and Stitch.
No, you're not. Shut up.
Okay, try to How to Train Your Dragon, the live action. No, I'm just kidding. Both of those are I despise the live action remake blockbusters, but those are going to be huge, which hopefully allows for some of these smaller movies. I'm going to cop off Scott, but Eddington, I heard about this on a podcast. It seems like the concept is really, really cool, so I'm looking forward to that. Probably not going to be like blockbuster, but. And then I would say Sinners, if you guys haven't seen it, it fits, that's what I want out of a movie in a blockbuster. And I already saw it, and it was just, it blew me away. So I kind of already got my blockbuster.
And that's the guy that's in that
I'd like to see Sinners.
played Creed, right?
Robert B. Jordan, right?
Robert
Is
B.
that-
Jordan?
is that-
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael
Michael
B.
B.
Jordan.
Jordan,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to do this because I saw it. I'm going to give you the thing that disappointed me the most when I saw what it was. I Spinal Tap 2. I just feel like there's no way that there's nothing they could do that would make me enjoy it. But I did see this, and it absolutely. I saw a very short preview of it. Peter Dinklage is the Toxic Avenger. I literally, it's the raunchy. The tiny little trailer was the raunchiest, shittiest thing I've ever seen. like what he's saying. I loved the Toxic Avenger. It was one of my favorite things that came out, and I am really looking forward to that. Have you seen anything with that?
I have seen the movie. I have.
Wait,
I
you've
have
seen
the movie?
You've seen the new Toxic Avenger?
Yep. And it's crazy because one of my favorite film festivals is Fantastic Fest, which is in Austin, Texas, about the last week of September every year. And one year they played the Toxic Avenger, that Peter Dinklage new one, and it had no distribution. Nobody had bought it. It wasn't coming out. Touted as, hey, this may be the only chance you get to see it in a theater, and it has taken that long. That was 2 years ago for it to get distribution. But if you like that kind of film, like what you think you're in for, yeah, you're gonna love it. It was great. Kevin Bacon plays this like super hammy kind of villain, and oh man, he's just all in playing that part, and it's a hoot. I really enjoyed it.
Oh man, okay. So now I am super excited. I can see that there is a movie that I'm going to watch. Okay, so real quick, let's do this. Karate Kid. There's another one. Happy Gilmore 2. A new Jurassic Park. Is there any reason to watch any of these movies?
You know, these days, and I'm a big person on the theatrical experience. In fact, I'm trying to spearhead opening up like an art house cinema, what they call a micro cinema here in the town that I live in.
Hell yeah.
So I very much believe in kind of the communal theater going, share this as an experience type of movie going. But I will admit, when you get into the fourth, fifth, sixth installment in a series, I often think, I can catch it when it hits home video. And so if you're saying, is there any point in seeing it at all? Well, if you like those kind of movies, it may very well be more of the same. But if you like it, you like it. It's kind of comfort food. But to go out and spend a bunch of money, especially if you would have multiple family members going and what have you, I can understand why people don't. Absolutely.
Okay. So last thing, and because I want to make sure in case this actually happened, I know Disney is putting out Snow White again. They're re-releasing it, and this is kind of weird. Right. They're putting it out. They're going to stream it, and they're going to re-release it into theaters. Has this happened before with something that was panned, it bombed? Have they done this before? Because it seems really weird that they're trying to push this out, and people just don't really seem to like it. So has it happened before?
Right. That's an interesting question. I don't. Nothing comes to my mind.
So wait,
wait,
say that they're.
So it came out. It came out what in January or something, right?
And it was terrible.
And it was allegedly
so now,
was terrible.
So now they're going to.
So now they're sending it to streaming,
okay,
and they're re-releasing it in theaters.
The same movie, okay.
The same movie that, and they're like, why are you sending it out to people and making people come here? And
well, because
allegedly
I know
it's horrible.
For a while, when streaming really was taking off, you were able to same day as the theaters. You can watch a theatrical release.
Oh yeah,
at home
for a certain amount of money. Yeah,
yeah, for X amount of money.
Yeah.
But that's not the case in this case because it's been out since January.
Right. So this hasn't happened before.
Oh, sorry, I can't think of any time that has happened before. And I do think that the shrinking of that window that you all are talking about, how long is it until you can just see it at home, has been a huge factor in shrinking theater going. You know, when people were like, "Man, I'm not going to be able to see this for 6 months if I don't go check this out," and then you could go to Blockbuster and rent it. You know, 6 to 8 months later. People would have a greater tendency to go to the theater. But now, I mean, literally about as soon as it premieres in a theater, they have the pre-orders up on, iTunes and Amazon and what have you, and you'll be able to access it at home within a few weeks. And so that has been one development in the business that I think has really hurt exhibitors and the theatrical side of things.
But they're trying hard at the price point, because there's no way I'm paying $25 to watch a movie from home. I mean, we were debating that when the Oscars came out and all those movies were $25 to rent or buy. I'm like, no, I mean, we go to the movie theater and watch it. I'm not gonna, no way.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I just had to see. It's weird because I'm thinking this. If a movie doesn't make a lot of money, like it doesn't have a strong showing and it doesn't make a crazy amount of money early on, does that stop people from seeing a movie? Like do I say I don't want to see that loser movie because everyone's saying that no one's going to see it? Does that stop people from seeing it?
You know, I tend to think that it's the opposite. In other words, if it's a huge hit, I think it causes people who otherwise don't go to movies to say regularly, oh, well, I got to go see this Oppenheimer thing. Everybody's just going crazy about it. I don't know that if it doesn't hit at the box office, that it keeps film fans from going. It just doesn't do anything for the legs of the movie to encourage infrequent moviegoers to show up. Because, people equate, commercial success with quality and say, "Ooh, that thing tanked. It must be a stinker." And it might not be. It might be one of the best movies of the year, but just nobody went. And but I think that word of mouth still exists. And I think that's a lot of what Sinners tapped into. Is I didn't talk to anybody who didn't say, "Man, that movie was amazing," and they were telling friends, you may not be into horror movies, or you may not think that you want to see this, but man, you need to go see this. And they would go see it and send more people. And so, I mean, it's at the 200 million mark and staying in theaters.
And it's coming back to IMAX. I heard that they're getting some re-screenings of IMAX, which makes sense because it's going to show. Yep. I can't understand the strategy of Disney here. That seems wild to me.
So
it was sold out all over the place. Like in L.A., I have a buddy who lives out in L.A. and he's a film critic out there. And so I asked him, I said, are you going to see it in 70 millimeter and true IMAX or whatever? And he's like, dude, if I want to wait 3 weeks to get in, he's like, all the screenings are sold out for forever. So he went to see it in what he would consider an IMAX inferior format just to get to see it, and then decided he'd go back and see it a second time in IMAX.
So wow, so movie. So wait, so you guys do that? That seems like a movie. If I knew a critic was going to see a movie like they saw it in an inferior format and then was like, I'm going to go back and see that in a couple days or a couple weeks, whatever.
Right.
I mean, that seems like something that would be touted by everyone and be like, that is really a special movie.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. And I at times have gone back and written a little note or a little addendum on a review to say, hey, I finally got to see this in its kind of ideal format, and it absolutely lives up to the hype. If you get a chance to see this movie, see it in 70 millimeter or see it in IMAX or what have you. The one that comes to mind is I saw the 70 millimeter film version of Oppenheimer was what they showed us at the critic screening, and it was just jaw-dropping.
I did Parasite, which won the Oscars in 2019. One of my favorites. It came back to our theater like in the winter, and it was actually the day that I was coming on this podcast, and my cousin was going to see it, so I didn't get to see it. But then the next day was showing at like 3:00, and I told my boss, I'm like, I'm going to see this movie, and I was in the theater alone in IMAX, but there was nobody there. There was nobody there. I was all by myself in the IMAX theater, like the 100-seat theater, to see that movie. But I had to see it again. But it was 3:00 on a Wednesday. But I almost missed it for this podcast, for this movie podcast.
So I have one quick question I just want to throw in there, because Steve and I were talking about this, and Matt as well. We were talking about previews, trailers, specifically trailers to movies, and how they've gotten out of control. and it's insane. And if you stream in a trailer at home, they're like 2 to 3 minutes long, and they give away the best parts of the movie. Do you think, because I'm of the genre where I loved it where there was barely any previews to some films. Like if you think back to the 94 when Forrest Gump was coming out, there was almost no previews. It was just Gump is coming. Gump is going to happen. And then they did the little thing with him, and then that was it. And then the movie went to the theater, and then it was a big hit. Are filmmakers and film production companies, are they getting back to that type of thing? Because Sinners didn't have a big trailer, right?
Yeah, no, it didn't. It kind of hinted at what kind of movie it really was, but it didn't come out and say it. And so I thought that was pretty effective. I mean, I picked up the vibe that they were putting out, and I knew it was going to have a supernatural bent to it. But yeah, I prefer that. I mean, one nice thing about getting to see things at a critic screening is there are no trailers.
And there's not room.
We're just there. We walk. Yeah, we just walk in, sit down, and the movie starts playing. And so I do my best if I can to avoid them. But you go on movies, you go to movies with friends and stuff like that, and you're sitting there through the previews, trying not to, absorb everything that's going to happen in these movies that you may go see, because you just know when you see it, you're just like, oh my God, I can just tell that is like a third act plot twist right there that they just showed me, and so yeah, it's gotten out of hand.
Those are always my favorite movies. You go into it, the theater specifically, not knowing anything about it. Like, I mean, it's always Quentin Tarantino's films did that to me several times. I knew nothing about the film, and I went in there and just blows you away.
Yeah, I mean, Anora was like that. Like, I saw multiple previews for it and had no idea.
I didn't see previews for that. I just heard from you guys saying I saw it, it blew me away.
Yeah, it didn't matter. I think they did a good job, and there's an art to that too. Because you want to generate some buzz, but like if you can obfuscate some of it and still get people interested, that's the window you're looking for.
Yeah. No, I agree completely.
Yeah. So here I saw 2 Academy Award winning films. I saw Complete Unknown, and I saw Conclave. Okay. Mm-hmm. Number one, I will say, I don't really care about Bob Dylan at all, and his life didn't seem all that interesting to me.
But you liked the performance, though. Like, you thought it was you like Timothy Chalamet was impressive.
Yeah, people love that guy.
Yeah, no. I totally get it, and the fact that he sang all that stuff himself, and it was really neat. But really, I really didn't give a shit at all about Bob Dylan. I've never, and because I told some people, and I'm in the minority because I said I've never in my life gone on to Spotify or like have a CD that was a Bob Dylan song. I've never sought out Bob Dylan music in any way. I know it as a thing, but I've never like done anything with it.
You don't like music, so I mean, you're not a music guy. You don't know artists. You don't listen to the radio.
You're so wrong.
You
it's
always
not even
say
funny.
that.
No, that's not even accurate in any way, shape, or form. There's certain kinds of I like every kind of music. But Bob Dylan's life didn't seem like a big fucking deal, and then they stopped it like halfway. Like I didn't even get to see like the end of Bob Dylan. But I will say this: Conclave was pretty interesting.
You wanted to
except
know about
for the end.
You want to know about Jacob Dylan and everything.
The end seemed kind of stupid. The very very end seemed kind of like unnecessary. But the whole concept, both the movies were really well done. But I don't know. There's a scene in A Complete Unknown where, and I have no idea why, Johnny Cash moves his car, smashes into 2 cars.
That was the best scene in the movie.
That was the dumbest scene in the fucking movie. He moves his car, smashes into a couple other cars so that Bob Dylan can move his motorcycle, and that's when, because it took me 3 times to watch it. It took 3 different sittings, and I just thought to myself, I'm watching something I don't give a shit about, but the guy's doing a pretty decent job. Is that right? Am I taking that like completely wrong?
I mean, it did get mostly blinked, right? I don't think it won anything actually for the Oscars. So I mean, I kind of get it. I think that's kind of the vibe I would take away from it too. But the Johnny Cash scene was really funny.
Yeah, but I get that. What you're saying is to me, Walk the Line, all those films, the one with Queen, the one with Elton John. You can go on and on. They're not earth-shattering films. They're just they're entertaining. You take it for what it's worth, and you move on. I mean, it's everybody knows the story. Everybody knows who they are. Everybody knows their songs, and whether you like them or not, it's an enjoyable movie, I guess, for the average person.
Okay, so Scott, let me ask you this. So we had
Sure.
Tina Turner, Johnny Cash's, Ray,
Yeah,
a
it
complete
goes on and
unknown,
on, yeah.
all those guys.
Bob
I mean,
Marley a few years ago.
Yeah.
the Bob Marley one,
That was-
I still haven't watched it yet. It wasn't enough Bob Marley. It was just I didn't really appreciate that. But let's go with the ones that we've the ones that have all been really good ones, right? It
Right.
seemed like the Bob Dylan one, it just lacked any kind of I give a shit at all.
It was very basic. I mean, it was very obvious. There wasn't really anything about it that
Right.
seemed like you got some kind of revelation. But when I wrote about that, I also kind of asked myself the question of, Bob Dylan himself is an enigma. I mean, nobody really understands him or his thought processes
literally or
or
figuratively.
anything like that. And so it's kind of like, how do you show the inner motivations or whatnot of one of the most inscrutable people in the history of music? And so it's tough to do. I have a couple of music biopic favorites that nobody's ever either seen or heard of typically. But the one about James Brown, where Chadwick Boseman plays James Brown, Get On Up, that is fantastic. And then there is one where Ethan Hawke plays the famous jazz trumpeter Chet Baker, and it's called Born to Be Blue. And they have all kinds of people in it, like somebody's playing Miles Davis and somebody's playing Thelonious Monk, and so it's all the dudes from that era of jazz. And Chet Baker was an incredibly interesting guy, and unfortunately a drug addict and had all kinds of problems. And there was a period in his career where he owed his drug dealer a bunch of money, and so they beat him up. And when they beat him up, they knocked out his front teeth, and he's a trumpet player. And so the movie is about post being beaten up by the drug dealer, losing his ability to play and having to find his ability to play and kind of make a comeback. And Ethan Hawke does his own singing, and it's tremendous. So there are some good ones out there, but a lot of times the big ones,
Yeah. Yep.
maybe not enough heart in them. And so those couple definitely have heart to them, and I think it's Chadwick Boseman's best performance. People were talking about him with, of course, Black Panther and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom and those different movies that came out later. But I was like, y'all must have missed Get On Up. You were sleeping on this dude because he was great before those movies.
Does he sing? Does he do a lot of singing in that?
To tell you the truth, I can't remember off the. I know that it's at least blended.
Okay.
He does some
Which
of
is
the
fine.
singing.
Yeah.
But
It
I
doesn't
don't know if
take
he does
away-
all of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, Scott, you are adding because I feel like when Steven and I get the family together, and maybe instead of watching sports like we generally
Endlessly
do,
sports, yeah.
yeah, endless sports. I
Right.
feel like we should have like a movie time.
Yeah, I
like
think
where
we-
we just put something on, one of these things, right? And I'm thinking I think I want to start with Talk to Me. I think no, out of all the ones that we did it, I think that's got to be the most interesting thing. But I think instead of doing that, I
Yeah.
think we should have a little bit of movie time.
That and see Toxic Avenger.
I cannot wait.
That sounds
I'm
fun.
telling you right now, if you know Toxic Avenger, he's like a giant dude. But
Right.
when you see,
Right.
I don't know what the term is right now. Tinier, small,
Little person.
life-size person, half-size person. Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny. Okay, Scott, we're gonna let you go. This thing is going on forever. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Always great to talk to you guys.
Okay, and then we will figure out. You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking right now, horror movie stuff. Yeah,
Halloween.
Yeah.
Halloween. So, all right, clear.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Clear your schedule.
Oh,
Find,
we have a great film festival here in Chicago too.
the horror fest.
Horror fest in Chicago. It's all low budget.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I'll send it to him. I'll send it to you. But
Matt's going to
yeah,
send you the link to the website.
So, yeah,
because
we had
it's-
the guy on.
It's so well done. It's incredible. It'll blow
we
you
had the
away.
guy on last year, and we didn't get a chance to get there. But you know what we'll do? Maybe we'll head over there and then have you on and talk a little bit about independent films and that kind of stuff, and then
Yeah,
some of the
absolutely.
best horror films. All right.
Sounds great.
So, thanks,
All right,
Scott.
Scott. Thanks so
Take
much,
care.
man. I appreciate it.
You guys
Oh,
take care.
man. I feel like we could do this for like hours. I honestly feel like we could just talk movies for hours
Like a spin-off podcast?
of just no, because Steven, you sent me that one movie where they talk about movies.
Oh yeah.
It was like two people, two adult men, literally talking about like shoelaces.
Well, that's
how awful.
Elizabeth,
No.
Elizabeth's show is about movies.
I
Don't
mean,
ruin this for
I thought
me.
was interesting though.
Yeah,
I
she
thought that
does
was a little
her. Yeah,
interesting.
they do a good job.
But then my sister sent me one about where they talked about Cowboy Carter, the movie, the music thing.
one.
And again, it's at some point you can micro talk about all these different things, and it's just not interesting if it's not funny or entertaining.
Yeah, or there's like a struggle, like when you said Chet Baker, who's not like he's not like a megastar. He's probably a talented musician, but he obviously had personal issues. And the funny thing, like the goons who beat him up took away his one ability, which is funny. Like, why'd they do that? That's his only way to make money. So why would you take away his one skill that he has?
Right.
Because you can't
You don't
pay him
break a
back.
basketball
You can't-
player's leg.
You can't pay him back.
Yeah, if a basketball
Yeah.
player owes you money, you don't break his leg, so he can't make you money.
Yeah. So, like, for example, I want to see the movie Freak Out, which is going to be the P. Diddy post-trial verdict movie. I want to see how he survives that adversity. So,
So Ted's going to watch Court TV.
hey, if you can get a RICO charge all by yourself just for having parties, that's pretty impressive.
You are killing me, man. You are absolutely killing me. Okay. Wow. This is going on forever. Let's do a last thought. We'll make Ted go first since he didn't get to say anything.
Mark, when I'm invited to dinner at your house this Friday, I promise not to talk about Amy Adams until the very end, just so that's the last thing you have in your head when I walk out the door. And thanks for the food.
Okay.
I mean, listen, I will say this. Amy Adams is pretty bland.
Yeah.
There's nothing. There's
She's
nothing
got a
that's-
couple of good movies.
Yeah, who's the other one?
Yeah,
She's like a
but-
redhead. She was like really. I didn't really think she was kind of like a blob of nothing. Like not Elizabeth Shue, but there's like another one. She was in some movies, and every time she was there, I'm like, oh, it's that woman again, and she was just very tedious.
But I'll be honest with you, except for Leaving Las Vegas, which was a good movie.
Yeah.
But it was a good movie. Yeah. But Elizabeth Shue was just not.
Yeah, and there
Get out of
and there was like
town, dude.
another
Karate Kid,
Yeah.
Cocktail.
She was a nothing in both of those, and both of those movies were. Come on.
And then
She
there was like a
awesome
third.
in Karate Kid.
Karate Kid was good. Karate Kid was good. I'll give you that. But Cocktail. I mean, any blonde who stood
Back to the
next
Future 2. No, yeah, Back to the Future 2.
where she was passed out for the entire movie. Wasn't she passed out on a porch the entire movie?
Well, that's why she
Yeah,
did well. That's why she did well.
yeah,
She didn't speak, and she wasn't.
You know who
singing.
else could have done
I
well on
love
that? Amy
Elizabeth
Adams. Amy Adams could have done really well on that. Okay. Mark, last thought.
Get to the theater. Just go to a movie theater. Stop streaming for like a month. And like this summer, just make it a point to go see the movies, right? You can still stream and watch stuff, but get out there and see the movies in their in their glory, in all their glory, in the theater.
All right. So, Stephen, what do you do? Because you go see a movie every Tuesday, and you have some sort of pass. What do you
Well,
have?
yeah. So I mean, first of all, a lot of theaters do have like deal nights, so that's a good way to do that. But yeah, I pay for. It's just like you get discounted tickets. You get.
What's the actual thing?
It's through Cinemark, so it's like Movie Pass through Cinemark. So you pay it's like $10 a month. So you get one ticket a month for $10, which isn't terrible, and then you get discount on like the food and stuff, and
Okay, and you go see a movie basically once
pretty
a week.
much, yeah, pretty much once a week.
All right, and I mean, if you're thinking about so in 3 months you're going to see 12 movies. How many of those movies were you just like, I'm sorry I went? I mean, honestly.
I honestly don't really have that very often. The only times that happens is when like when someone's like being loud in the theater, and that's actually not that common. So like honestly, most of the time I'm like, oh, that was pretty good.
Wow, I feel like
that could be me. That could be also
right.
be.
I feel like I'm
mindset.
jaded now because this is what I feel like. I feel like I have 30 more years of seeing movies, and that's why that would be a little bit more difficult for me. Like I said, I watch a movie and halfway a quarter way through, I'm like, oh man, this is exactly like that.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't think anything I do is so worth it in those 2 hours that I'm like, oh my God, I could have done this other thing. It's nice to just put my phone away, like really focus on something. Like, if it's not the best, whatever. Like, what was I going to do? Like, I was just going to watch the Sox and watch how terrible they are? Like, whatever.
Well, plus, I think a movie in a theater just psychologically is just better in a theater, just because it's just a larger, it's just more stimuli. So even if a movie's kind of subpar, I think watching in the theater just makes it a little bit better,
It does. I mean, there's very few times. That's an interesting concept. Put your phone away.
Just phone away. And, like, I
Just
say I'm
focus
going
on
to
the
do
movie.
that. I say I'm going to do that at home, but it's just harder. It's like, oh, and then someone's asking you about this or that. It's like the movie, you just say, like, well, I'm gone for 2 hours. Like, and it's not that big of a commitment. If you've got something close by, you're not, like, driving an hour or two or something.
Wow. Okay. You know what? Mark, you and Steven, not Ted, you and Steven have convinced me to watch a few more movies. Here's what I would like to do. If we went once a month or so, I would love to go see a movie with you and then be able to afterwards just kind of BS about the movie.
Why don't you enter by yourself? Like, meet me there like you're going alone.
And then put on the VR headset, take my pants off.
Just make sure you're sitting on your hands. That'll be the all clear signal. If your hands are in your lap, that's the danger zone.
All right. You know what? I don't even have a thought now because I shared so many thoughts. But I will say this: Happy Gilmore 2 is coming out. Okay, and here's the thing, and I think I mentioned this to Mark. I might have mentioned on a show. I saw Hustle, and
Amy Adams ruined it for you.
she was not in that, was she?
Yeah.
Amy Adams was not in that. No,
I don't remember.
But no, she was
You're talking about the movie with Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler.
Oh, yeah.
And it was so good. He was so good in this, just a regular human being. And if he can just make that funniness without the absolute stone cold stupidity of all of his jag-off friends and making poop jokes and fart jokes and all that stuff and make some actual real funny comedy.
Like Little Nicky?
One of the worst movies. He made about 6 or 8 movies. What was the one he did? The Hateful Eight, the Despicable Six, whatever it was. I actually wanted to hunt him down.
Not the Hateful Eight.
No. He did Despicable Six or something like that. Like his take on that. I wanted to hunt him down, and I would have hurt him if I would have found him. If I would have found him, I would have hurt him.
Or just beat up Rob Schneider instead. He's in all his movies too. Or John Turturro, right? He was,
but I'm kind of, if you can make it funny. I mean, make it funny, make it entertaining. It was Happy Gilmore was so ridiculously awesome with all that stuff. I just thought it was great. Okay, with that said, man, the longest show we have ever done. Yeah.
Wow.
Listen, keep listening, keep enjoying, and it'll take probably 2 or 3 weeks. So in 2 or 3 weeks, we'll see everybody again.